Look, I'm only warning you one more time. Stop using the damn elevator. You're a third-rate worker that doesn't have the right to use the luxuries of this building. God, all of you labor workers really are meatheads that don't understand the first thing about etiquette. Do you even have a college education? You probably didn't even finish high school.
I'm sorry, Chief, but if I may ask, what's the issue with using an elevator that's open to the public? I never heard that rule when we went over the briefing. If there's some particular circumstance I'm unaware of, then please let me know, and I'm sure we can work something out.
You're a damn labor worker, for God's sake. That's enough of a reason for you to be prohibited from going anywhere near the elevators. I'm the CEO of a construction company. We live in two completely different worlds. Do you understand that? When you get to my level of importance, you understand how crucial it is to let your superiors go first.
I'm only asking a basic question, sir. I don't understand why you're taking all of this to a personal level. I've never heard of a single law in this company that prohibits someone from using the elevator. If there's something that has changed over the past few months, then please let me know. But if not, then I believe what you're saying is discrimination.
Who do you think you are? Acting all high and mighty even though you're just a low-income construction worker? You think you can get away with speaking like that to your superior? I can make you lose your job just like that, you know? You don't want that to happen, do you? Better yet, maybe I'll cut all ties with your company altogether. Guess what would happen then? You'll need to beg for forgiveness from your boss.
Making a decision to cut ties that quickly just because of a simple question? I'm sorry, but I don't understand you at all. You're just going to destroy your own reputation if you keep cutting ties with collaborating companies and be labeled as hard to work with.
You think you know more than me, is that it? You think that your pathetic opinion is that important, do you? I'm in the position to throw your company out just like that if I wanted to. There's plenty more to choose from. You'd be surprised at the amount of third-rate pigs there are that will do anything for a bit of pocket money.
How will your own staff start viewing you then if they realize their CEO is a money-hungry man who will easily replace those that work under him? Though I suppose my advice here is going to go out the other ear just because you view me as a worthless construction worker with no power. Are you even allowed to make a decision as big as cutting off plans by yourself without the opinions of your coworkers? Besides, our contract states that you can cancel the plans of working alongside us unless a major issue arises.
Just stop talking. You're digging your own grave. Do you understand your position? You have no right to order me around like this. If I want to call up a job, then that's what will happen. That's the amount of power that I have.
Just because you have power doesn't mean you're in the right to abuse it left, right, and center. Even the employees who all work under you have their own lives that they have to live. I'm sorry, but I don't think there's a single thing that I've said that goes against the company's conduct. If anything, I think you're the one who's stepping out of line.
Your whole attitude towards me is the definition of stepping out of line. In our society, it's those that are in power that have every right to run things however they want, and those under the leaders have to do exactly as they're told. So if I say that you're in the wrong, it means that you're in the wrong. So stop arguing with me and learn your place.
Do you treat all your co-workers with this much disrespect? I'm surprised they all still work under you. I can't believe you're a full-grown adult, and yet you still think like a schoolyard bully. There's being a leader, and then there's being an abuser.
You wouldn't know the first thing to do to lead a company. Do you honestly think you're going to win this argument? Because all the cards are against you right now. I have more power than you could ever imagine. You should go back to school and relearn how social hierarchies work. And get some manners while you're at it, too. How old are you anyway? You've probably been living this disrespectful lifestyle all your life.
If I need to relearn my manners, it seems like you need to go back to basic human interactions. I would never have guessed that you were such a disrespectful man.
You keep talking back to me. Do you really think that's acceptable in any way? And what was with those reports you sent in anyway? Are you sure you went over them? A high schooler could have done a better job. How have you missed the mark this much?
I put all of the information into the templates that you sent over, but was there an error somewhere? I can always get it fixed up if you mention the specifics, but I did exactly as you told me.
I didn't know that you could get a full-time job with writing skills this poor. Your whole company is an absolute disgrace. You know that? None of you know what doing a good job looks like. I can't believe I have to keep telling you dumb workers how to do your job, and yet you still mess up this bad.
Well, I did everything you told me to using the same template provided. So if there were any issues with the final product, then couldn't it be an issue in your template? Obviously, the completed document isn't going to sound as professional if the foundations aren't solid enough. Why don't you look over your template once more and check if it's up to your company's standards?
You did not just say that. Say that one more time. Are you saying that you have an issue with the way we do things? How dare you? Blaming your own mistakes on me just because you couldn't do the simple task that was given to you.
Please, calm down. It was just a possibility that I suggested. I'm just trying to work out what the problem is along with you. I want this job to go as smoothly as you want it to, after all. So let's work out a solution to what has happened and move on from there. But if it really was an issue on my end, then I truly apologize for any inconvenience I've caused, and I'll make sure I fix the problem.
You should have just said that from the start and taken the blame. You're the one in the wrong. Hurry up and fix those documents up to my standards this instant. You have 1 day. I better see them done by then.
Well, could you please at least go over the issues that were present in the document? I can't really fix something if I don't entirely know what I need to fix.
I told you to deal with it, so you better fix it all by yourself. I don't owe you any explanation. Stop trying to get someone to hold your hand for every single thing you do. You're not a high schooler anymore. Act like a proper adult with responsibilities. You're not at the age where you should be expecting the answers to be given to you.
I understand. Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'll be heading back to my work as I need to get all of this done now. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Hey, George, I hope I've caught you at a good time. How did work go? I'm guessing it all went well today. I hope you didn't get grilled at by the chief.
Oh, Max. Yeah, hi. I just finished up work for the day. You guessed it, though. The chief went off at me about the most simplest of things. He was criticizing me for using the elevator, for God's sake. I didn't even know what to respond with because of how shallow his reasons of getting angry were. But I tried to respond as professionally as I could to show that what he was saying was absolutely absurd. But I don't know if the message got through to him.
Oh, look at you trying to put him in his place. I like it. See, he threw boiling coffee all over me once at work. I still can't forget how painful that was. I can't help but get paranoid when I'm around him these days.
Wait, what? I've never heard you mention this. Did you bring this up to the other higher-ups? Surely that's a violation of your rights. That might even get him fired if the word gets out.
Well, I was planning to tell the other higher-ups, but he started to blackmail me about it. He told me that his company doesn't need anyone that can't solve their problems by themselves, and said he'd fire me on the spot if I got help from someone else. So there isn't anything I can really do about the whole situation, unfortunately.
Jesus, to think even he'd take it that far. Yeah, I suppose most people in your shoes would unfortunately react the same way and not be able to do anything.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but it can't be helped. But it's not just me. Everyone around me is just as tired with dealing with him at this point.
Really? How does he still have his job?
Power, I suppose. But there's people that give in to him and break after a while. I've known a ton of people that are newbies to the company who quit immediately after being abused by him as they can't take the damage to their mental health. The brighter you are in the workplace, the more the chief harasses you to make you quit quickly. It's as if he doesn't want anyone to work under him or something.
So that's what's been happening, huh? I suppose that explains his incredible prejudice against low-income workers. I mean, I experienced that firsthand.
Yeah, that's just the type of man he is. Talk about a superiority complex. He'll go off about you doing a terrible job at whatever work you're doing at the moment and not explain why he thinks that way. It's all because he enjoys the fact that people under him can't fight back. Oh, and he treats women workers even worse too, if you could believe that. He's an abuser to the heart, and it gets much worse if he's dealing with a frail girl in the office. The more superior in front of someone, the worse they get treated. That's just how it works, unfortunately. Who knows what he gets up to with women that have no choice but to follow his orders because of power dynamics? It's disgusting. He's a married man, too. Like, how gross can you be? Jesus, that's truly evil. How can someone be this blatantly vile in front of so many people? But to think he's treated me with that much disrespect? I suppose the rumors are true that he'd be condescending towards absolutely anyone. Well, it's definitely on brand to his character. I mean, I want all of this to end just as much as the next guy, but if I were to take things into my own hands, I'm scared that the consequences for me wouldn't be pretty. I know I should stand up for myself, but I just can't, knowing that he has all the power in the world to end my career.
Yeah, you're right. Look, don't worry about it. There is no way that a man that has abused this many people can be left having all the power for much longer. I'm sure Judgment Day will arrive for him soon.
Hey, don't you remember a single thing I said? I told you that low-life scum like you don't deserve to use the company elevator. Climbing the stairs is what you deserve. Don't think you'll get away with a light kick like what you got off with today if this keeps up.
Do you realize what you've done? And how inappropriate your actions were? How can you just come up to someone and kick them like that? You know that sent me to the hospital. How are you going to take responsibility for that? I can feel the pain in my back all afternoon because of the way that I fell down.
God, you really are weak. Are you sure you're not a woman? It was a light tap, but you made a scene about it. You probably didn't even need to go to the hospital with an injury like that. The guy I kicked over before you took it like a champ and kept working, you know? Well, I did warn you the first time you used the elevator after all. This was all your fault for not listening to your superior's orders.
They do say karma comes back around to those that do bad deeds, but this is exactly what's going to happen. I'll come out of this victorious, and you'll lose everything.
You really think something that insane will happen all of a sudden? If you're gonna go around spouting about karma, then wouldn't you think I'd have lost my position of CEO if I was a bad man? You barely have any influence, so I don't know what you're trying to achieve with your little retaliation attempt.
I've had enough talking to you at this point. All the pieces are in place now. All of the evidence to do with you harassing others has been passed on to the authorities. I'll stop pretending to work under you. I have all the information I need.
What are you talking about? Did you hit your head during your fall or something? I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, whatever you have planned, I'll always come out on top. I guarantee that much.
I'm sure you won't be talking like that when you finally find out who I truly am.
Who are you? You're a low-life, third-rate, underpaid worker, for God's sake. You're the furthest thing from corporate power. You think I'm scared of you? Go on. What would make a CEO like me afraid of my position? Tell me.
I work in moderating work safety investigations.
Yeah, right. Where did that come from? You think I'm gonna believe you? You're really trying to make me believe that you were a work safety investigator that pretended to work under me?
There we go. You're getting it. That's exactly what I'm saying.
So all of this was just a lie to make me look bad? Is that what it was?
It's what you're thinking. I went undercover as a worker in order to see if your company met the legal standards required.
There's no way. I don't believe it. How could you? A pathetic lowlife like you was here to investigate my workplace?
Exactly. We got complaints for your company ever since it started up, with instances of people quitting early before their contract ended. So we decided to investigate within the office in order to find out what the cause of this was, and clarify if it was the result of something more sinister. And look at all this evidence that we discovered about your poor conduct.
No, this can't be happening. Who was the snitch? Who made it so the authorities had their eyes on our company?
I can't disclose any of that information, but I never thought it'd be this easy to find evidence against you. Regardless, this is the end of my investigation. The results are final. If you have anything more to say, then please don't message me, as I won't be responding. Instead, the police will pay you a visit sometime down the line, so please tell it to them when the time comes.
No, you can't just do that. I haven't done anything wrong. We just had a little accident where you fell over. There's no evidence to prove that I was directly guilty."
Well, there's plenty more evidence that I've discovered through my research. I've talked to specific people within the company in order to see how deep the rabbit hole of your abuse went down. So I think there's more than enough facts that prove that you were a vile leader from the very beginning.
None of that matters. I'm the CEO, and whatever I say is what needs to be done. All of those guys that dealt with me deserved it. They couldn't even do basic simple things, so I taught them a lesson.
Again, please say all that to the police when they see you. Oh, and don't think I'm bluffing either. I've sent in a report specifically for your attack against me too, so you'll definitely be seeing the authorities.
Wait, you're missing my point. I told you not to go to the elevator since you weren't authorized. I was just doing my job. Surely I could have gone about it differently, but you were in a prohibited area. I haven't broken any code of conduct at all.
Oh, and I'll be sending this conversation that you've had with me to the authorities too. So you can't deny that you didn't say any of this later on. You understand? They'll put you in your place. I promise you that much.
Then, what do I do?
Well, I've been sent to the hospital because you physically assaulted me, so there isn't much I can do with my own hands at the moment. But I'll have someone come around to see you to organize the medical fees that I owe the hospital now.
Hold on, what evidence are you even talking about? All of this has been speculation based on what you've heard from others.
Trust me, you don't want to go there. The list will be endless. You've treated me horribly the entire time I've been around you. If that doesn't do it for evidence for you, then how about the fact that you keep women that you fancy behind to work overtime without being paid? And then force them to have dinner with you saying that you'll pay them back in food instead?
What does that have to do with anything? There's mutual consent from both sides between two adults. What's the issue?
The issue is that this has been reported to happen multiple times from different victims. It doesn't help that you're clearly using your power and status in order to get what you want from these women. Again, all of this has been sent into the police to do further investigating.
Stop talking about the police, for God's sake. You've done nothing but accuse me of things without giving me any direct evidence.
You don't want to talk about the police? Okay, let's change the topic then. What about the work safety check then? Would you prefer that?
No, let's just drop the whole topic for good.
Even from our organization's perspective, inviting a woman out forcefully by making her work overtime and paying her with a dinner is an unacceptable use of power. So either way, you're done for. I'm sure in your company's contract there's no section that talks about paying your staff through bribing them to dinner. It's not an acceptable thing from your position.
All right, fine. I understand what you're trying to say. I see your argument, so why don't we just call it even if I send you the money for the hospital fees?
You think we can wrap things up that easily?
Well, there were some areas that I wasn't particularly aware about in terms of work safety. So why don't we just make a promise here that I won't ever do anything like that to abuse my power? And in return, we can forget the whole sending this information to the police side of things. Here's what I'll do. I'll send you a little extra for the hard work you went through within your time working under me.
That's not going to happen, and you know this. I've done extensive research on all of the companies that have collaborated with you in the past, and there have been reports from all of them that you've treated them unjustly.
Right, and you'll never hear anything like that going forward. I promise you that.
Even if we push aside all of the things regarding me sending in information to the authorities, you have to keep in mind that someone else who has been a victim will do it regardless. So even if you stop me with the bribe money, this won't end well for you. It seems everyone that works under you is planning on a giant riot against you. So if I were you, I'd suggest you just give it up while you can. Admit it, your company and your career are both done for.
Hold on a second. Isn't there something we can work out?
You sure have gone from thinking you were invincible all this time to helpless in the span of a few minutes, huh? But you have to understand that every single person you've looked down upon has a life that's just as important, and that their emotions are about to erupt since the opportunity is about to arise to take you down. So you better be prepared to be looked down upon for the first time in your life. Afterwards, the CEO, Adam, tried to get in contact with me and figure out which hospital I was in order to pay me off to keep me quiet. But of course, I didn't respond no matter how hard he begged. It wasn't long until the authorities came after him in order to arrest him. There was more than enough evidence at this point in order to determine how vile this man was. And it didn't help that all of his victims finally grew the courage to mass report the things that he had done over the years to the authorities. Not long after, his business fell down into bankruptcy, never to see the light of day again. Seems as though karma really comes round. If you don't treat everyone with mutual respect, then they'll do whatever they can to get you back for it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more daily stories.